Om Namah Shivaya. Start हो गया क्या? Oh. There is a reason why Israel is one of the most powerful, strategically important and diplomatically far-sighted nations. However, its neutral and nation-first based foreign policy is often misconstrued as supporting the wrong side by the West. Unfortunately, Israel is being pressured by the US and the EU to support a failing Ukraine. Hi and welcome to TFIGlobal, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI media group. I'm your host Atul Mishra in his full Hindu glory. Let's begin. Due to its relations with Moscow, Israel has avoided getting directly embroiled in the Russia-Ukraine war. It has refused to supply any military help to Ukraine. This has frustrated a desperate Ukraine and its allies, which have often pressured and threatened Israel for not backing Ukraine. The then Prime Minister of Israel, Yair Lapid, continuously rejected the demands of the West to supply weapons to Ukraine. Last year in June, Zelensky condemned Israel for its refusal to take part in sanctioning Russia during a speech to the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Similarly, Kiev's envoy to the Middle East, Maxim Supk, stated that Ukraine is disillusioned as it wanted to hear from Israel a proper condemnation of Russia's military operation. The West and the Ukrainian regime, whose blunders drove Kiev into a spiraling diplomatic and political crisis, also expressed their discontent with Israel not taking part in the second Crimea Platform Summit, which was attended by officials from the EU, NATO, and the UN. In addition, Zelensky's government also attacked Israel's policy with regard to Ukrainian refugees. In March 2022, the Israeli government implemented a cap on Ukrainian refugees entering the country. Israel's policy toward the Russia-Ukraine war remained unchanged even after the collapse of Yair Lapid's government and the appointment of Benjamin Netanyahu as the nation's prime minister. Netanyahu too is well familiar with the nefarious intentions of Zelensky, as Ukraine voted in favor of Palestine in the UN, which created cracks in the relationship between Kiev and Jerusalem. Also, Netanyahu is a good friend and strategic ally of Vladimir Putin, who stated that he will consolidate Russia's ties with Israel. Another important reason for Jerusalem not backing Kiev is Iran. Israel is heavily reliant on Russia's support in Syria in countering the diplomatic and political rise of Tehran. The West and NATO have not stopped their persistent endeavors to persuade Israel, which is strategically a very important player in geopolitics. On 27th January, a senior official from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, told Israel's President Isaac Herzog to reconsider domains where it can support Ukraine. Herzog took part in a meeting held at the NATO headquarters in Brussels. NATO's head Stoltenberg told the media that one of the important topics of deliberations was the war in Ukraine. Herzog's visit to NATO comes in the backdrop of a string of visits to Israel by top officials of the military bloc. The latest visit was that of NATO's Assistant Secretary General of Political Affairs and Security Policy, Bettina Kadenbach, in November. Therefore, the US and Europe are hell-bent on dragging Israel into their failed diplomatic and political plot to destroy Russia. Unfortunately, Biden, Macron, and Le Pen refuse to acknowledge the fact that Jerusalem will never betray one of its most trustworthy and strategic allies, that is, Russia. Netanyahu is well aware of the fact that if he abandons Moscow, then that will have adverse repercussions on the safety, security, and stability of Israel, since it is surrounded by nations which have made countless attempts to damage its sovereignty and harm its territorial integrity. And hence, we can say that NATO's last-ditch effort to woo Israel will find no acceptors.